Hello everyone, I'm Sanjay from DAV Data Solution. We're back with another video in the YouTube series My Journey. Today we have with us an interesting guest, Janvi Sharma. She is an environmental engineering graduate from IIT ISM Dunbar. We're really glad to have you on this show.
Yeah, hello.
Hi. So, what better way to introduce her than quoting her own words? She is an advocate for sustainability and environment in pursuit to save the global collapsing ecosystem from selfish human activities with climate leadership and environmental management. Wow, the way you describe yourself, it's inspiring. Can you tell us more about yourself?
Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Janvi Sharma. I just completed my final year in Bachelor of Technology in Environmental Engineering from IIT Dhanbad, and currently I'm waiting for the results. So I have experience in climate change and sustainability services through my internship with Ernst and Young, and I will be joining them full time soon. So apart from this, I recently won Global Level Arubi Analytics Challenge 2021 and have had cross-cultural experience in research also in carbon sequestration in shale rocks. So yeah, forget it. So as of now, I am interested in helping businesses or companies become more sustainable. That is overall corporate sustainability, and have done some personal projects on them recently also. So yeah, that is what I want to start my career with, and yeah, that's it.
Great. Quite an outstanding journey with a lot of experiences. Today we'll be decoding it, gaining insights from it. Let's start with the first question. We could see a clear passion for in yourself for towards the environment, right? How did it all start? Like, what sparked your interest in environmental science or engineering?
So yeah, I don't have specific interest in just environment as such. I what I want to do is overall towards more sustainability. Environment is a part of that, right? So when I was small, I used to change my school a lot because my father used to get transferred from one place to another. So mostly I used to go in villages. Like I saw deforestation and industrialization happening in front of my eyes. So since I was a child, I always wanted to do something about it, but yeah, like a normal Indian child, I just did not focus on it a lot, and went for my studies. Like I went to clear IIT I went to Kota and study about it. So when I was actually, luckily, I would say thanks to my fate that I got environmental engineering in IIT Dhanbad. Till that point, I did not have any spark as such. But the main thing happened in my college. Like I joined a club called ISEC. Right. So ISEC is a club, an organization which focuses on implementing or impacting sustainable development goals through its operations or day-to-day activities. So yeah, when I talk about day-to-day activities, like once in a month, we used to go for volunteering. Like we would just go out in Dhanbad, the city of Dhanbad. It's a small place in Jharkhand. So we would just go out there and distribute some cloth bags or plant some trees. Or we used to install some dustbins in the major part of the cities with the help of government. We would just go and talk to the people, local people out there, and just talk to them what they think about sustainability, and do they need any help, or what are the major things that they are like facing right now. So that time I got to know through all these experiences that the vulnerable part of the society is affected a lot by our human activities, and we used to do some initiatives in order to change that, like small initiatives. We used to give the poor and rich children a same platform in order to compete, and that made some, like I saw a lot of smiles on those people's face when I did that. So yeah, I would say that smile was the spark, like directly or indirectly, like using my skill set. That time I decided that I want to do something for the society and the ones whose voice is mostly silenced, like animals or that part of the society, or even earth. I just want to make them smile more. So like that is where the overall thought of like, yes, I want to do something about it came, and yeah, that was my spark.
Wow, great. It's really great to know that you went on ground, created impact.
Yeah,
Like you mentioned about one point, right? Like you mentioned that you were telling about sustainability to people, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
sustainability involves a lot of jargon, and it's not directly clear to the common public, right? So can you
yeah.
explain sustainability to a layman?
Yeah, sure. So I would say that like when we talk to those people, like I focused on what is sustainability for them. Like are they getting proper like food, a shelter, or do they want to really plant trees? So those kind of questions, like when I talk to the village people. But like I can explain, okay, for you, like what is sustainability? So I would say that sustainability is focusing on make the world a better place to live uh, in majorly three aspects, that is environmentally, economically, and socially. Like there are a lot of social aspects, like zero hunger, or food for all, quality education for all, justice for all, or I would say, yeah, education, clean water and sanitation for all, electricity for all, and that is affordable. There are a lot of environmental issues, like I want to help the animals on land or the life underwater. Like you might have seen that Netflix documentary Seaspiracy. We can see how the life underwater is affected by us. We can see how the climate change will happen, is happening, it's already started, and it will affect the vulnerable part of the society most. And then there are economical issues, like all the cities should grow, and then like decreasing the monetary disparity between society. Like some people are way too rich, some people are way too poor, below the poverty line, so we want to make them equal. So there are, I would summarize sustainability in these 3 points, that is socially, economically, and environmentally. So if we want to do something, we have to focus on all these three issues. So that is sustainability for anyone. It is very comprehensive. Like for a layman, like for a person like us, I would say, if someone is running a business, let him get suppliers not from a very big company, but from the local people, like local suppliers, or let them support small businesses. So that is also sustainability. Or just being aware of whatever, like keeping these issues in mind and just being aware, like maybe using AC for 3 to 4 hours less in a day, or just closing lights when we don't need it, or just helping poor people, or just make donate anything when we want. So that is sustainability, just being aware of all the issues and doing something about it, I think.
Oh, great. Sustainability is not just the corporate sustainability, but
Yeah.
it's for every individual. Like every individual needs to play their role. Like it even starts just from your home, right?
Yeah.
Great. But still, there are a lot of misconceptions about sustainability, right? Can you walk us through some of the few major misconceptions which you heard during your journey?
I think you just gave one great example. That is, sustainability is not something very corporate. It is something which it starts from home, that we have to do also. So I think this is one of the biggest misconceptions, that a lot of people think that those big corporations, they are creating a lot of pollution. Like even in Delhi, they are thinking that the people or the PSUs, the energy PSUs, they are burning fossil fuel, and they are creating a lot of pollution, then they are responsible for that, and we are not responsible for that. But guys, you are also using that thing, right? If the PSUs are making something, we are the consumers, so we have to do something about it. If we will stop using plastic straws, or we will stop using AC a bit less, so it will create an impact. So I think one of the biggest misconception is that it starts with home itself, and not just the corporate world. Another misconception, I would say, I have heard from a lot of people. Like a lot of people just come and say to me, "Ki tum akele kya kar loge?" And you cannot just alone change the world like that. So I think that is one of the another misconception. I know I cannot do it alone. Like everyone has a part to play, right? If the consumers have to decrease their consumption, and therefore the companies have to make it more green, right? So everyone has to play a part in this overall role, and we are just small players, right? I cannot alone make a change. I can just like even if I'm going in a job, I will be just helping companies go more sustainable. They do what they do not is dependent upon the company, right? So I think that is everyone's role in that. So yeah, these are some of the misconceptions. Yeah, there's one more misconception. So normally people say, like this is specifically for climate change. A lot of people say it's not here, like it will happen 100 years later, or jab tak to tum mar jaoge, so better don't do anything about it. So that is one of the misconception. So for all those people, I would like to say, guys, it's already here. Like if you haven't talked about the wildfires in Australia or California, or if you haven't seen the amount of cyclones that India faced last year, so then you are not reading news properly. So everything is increasing. Even the hottest days of the world are increasing, the number of hot days and the temperature itself. So it's very gradual and it has already started. So these are the common misconceptions, I would say. Yeah.
Wow, I mean, that's great. I mean, this is kind of common, right? Like sustainability,
Yeah.
like as you already mentioned, it's not just for corporates, it's from home.
Yeah.
Everybody must play their role, however small it may be. That's how we can
Yeah.
overturn the issues currently the globe is facing.
Yeah.
Right. Also, I went through your profile and got to know your work experience at Ernst and Young. Right. It's on sustainability, right? So, can you throw some light on
Yeah.
it?
On Ernst and Young, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I interned for 3 months, and I would say it is through Ernst and Young that I learned the ABCD of corporate sustainability. Like it all started over there. Before that, I was an environmental engineer, but I did not know. I just know the environmental part, like that. What is water hydraulics, or how to design pipes uh, that can be more that can live more, etc. Right. So that is through Ernst and Young, where I learned the ABCD of sustainability. What I learned things like how a company is sustainable, or how to compare which company is more sustainable, how to read their sustainability reports, what are the disclosures that the company is doing, like all the perspectives, environmental, social, and governance perspective. What are the various risks, like water related risks, climate related risks that any company can face. And I also learned, I also did some specific projects on some topics like water stewardship. So water stewardship is basically defined as using water in a way that is societally like equitable for all, not causing any problem to any part of society, and is environmentally and economically sustainable. So basically water justice for everyone, right? So my focus was which companies are at the most risk from water. Are they mature? Do they need help? What solutions can be provided for those companies, etc. And what kind of solutions are being already provided? Like when I specifically talk about tech, there are a lot of tech is used to identify water scarcity in the whole supply chain, the water risk, and do water risk assessment, wastewater management, and everything, right? So I did one more project that is for sustainability, and I also included the Indian government's role in the whole circular economy thing, right? So there are a lot of skill sets also that I learned. That is how to do all these research and analysis. What are the things that we should focus on? How to write sustainability reports? How to think of various solutions? So this was a overall or comprehensive way in which I think I read about sustainability, or I got to know about what is sustainability in Ernst and Young. And after that, I think there has been no stopping. Like I think Ernst and Young has played a major part in helping me think my career path.
Oh, that's great. Oh, you're joining there, right? Like after you graduate,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. In a month, I'll be joining that. Yeah.
good luck on your journey over there. And we have talked a lot about sustainability, but there is also
Yeah.
one more thing which we figured out you're interested in, which is analytics, right?
Yeah.
To all the viewers, she is also the winner of Adobe Analytics Challenge 2020, which is a very prestigious competition, and congratulations on it from DAV's side. So, can you walk us through how you got interested in analytics and what the competition was, like your experience in
Yeah.
it?
Okay. Yeah. So basically, I would say that data analytics is one of the skills which is a necessity nowadays. I would not say that it's a very different technical skill. It's a basic necessity, right? Even in environmental engineering, we use a lot of data for air pollution modeling or water modeling and water resource management, etc. So I just learned data analytics to enhance my skill set. Like I took a course from Coursera on data science specialization, and I just started it. Through that course, I got to know that how companies or how a lot the world can be impacted through data analytics. How can we solve problems using a lot of data that we have already stored in our computers or in our brain, right? So that is how I came across data analytics. And one day we were just like a group of college students. We just thought, okay, there is a competition, so let's just take part in it. So we didn't know about a lot about that competition. We just took part, and we all had basic knowledge about data analytics in our mind. So I still remember we saying that should we continue in this competition or not, because you're not aware of a lot of things. So yeah, but as soon we just came to know that you don't need to have any special skill. You just have to be generally aware in order to crack these competitions. Like the main question for us, like Nike was the partner, and the main question was for us was how to move customers down the customer. That is, how would you make a customer who is not known to Nike, known to Nike, to an engaged Nike customer who is purchasing a lot from Nike. So how to make customers go that through customer funnel. Okay, so you just don't have to do anything special. What we did was see through a customer's perspective. Like, we all are customers. Suppose I don't know Nike, what would I just do? Go on their website, and what would I do in order to be more comfortable with Nike, right? So we were given a lot of web and app data of Nike, and we could see that how many people came on this page, how many people just went away from this page, what were the recency and monetary and the financial things that the customers were related to. We analyzed what part of the world is buying more and which type of marketing is working where more, right? Geographical analysis. So these were kind of the basic things that we analyzed. So basically we came up with a lot of loopholes, like where are the problems in the whole Nike page and how to improve that. Like, they are already doing very good, and how to improve those things. So what we did now was to understand what other similar companies are doing, right? What are its competitors doing, which we can inculcate here. So that is, and just did some imaginative thinking, like these are the things that we can do more. As a customer, I would like this more. So we came up with all those solutions and suggested strategies that had a growth impact of 30% in the coming 5 years. So that is how we just thought throughout the problem, starting from understanding what is the question, dividing that questions into small data driven questions, understanding all the metrics and dimensions that were given to us, and then analyzing the whole data, finding loopholes, and then creating solutions. So that was our whole journey. And I would say that we learned a lot from it, starting from the basic thing when we didn't know anything to winning it. So I think every college student, I would say, should take part in as many competitions as you can, because you don't know when wonders can happen, and you can learn a lot from it too. I would like, this was my first real world data analytics project. So yeah.
I think the first one is amazing. And actually, one point which you mentioned, like you mentioned that we don't need any special skills, but we need to be generally aware. That's a point which I could resonate with most college students, because they have this imposter syndrome, especially when it comes to hackathons or data analytics challenges. Like, they feel that they're not good enough. But once you start, it's a process, it's a journey. So then just winning the competition, you learn a lot. So to all the viewers, all the data science enthusiasts watching this, start it out, just try it out. So maybe if you're luck, and you will always learn if you don't win, right?
Yeah.
So my next question is, like, you transition from sustainable development to data science, right? But there are a lot of technical people who have the data science skill set. How do they start sustainable development or learn environmental engineering to contribute towards it?
Okay, so yeah, as I said, that you don't need any special skills in order to win even a data analytics competition. Similarly, I would say you don't need any special skills or learn environmental engineering in order to create some solutions for the data science. Like, you just have to be aware. Like, recently, Elon Musk tweeted that this is the time for carbon taxes. So when you just see those words, like, just Google what are carbon taxes, and he just said that Bitcoin is very carbon intensive, so we will not be supporting it, right? So just Google it. Why is Bitcoin carbon intensive? What can I do about it? Like, how can I contribute? So there are, like, I would not say there is any part of the world which is tech or non-tech right now, because starting from the time we just wake up to the time we sleep, everything is driven by tech. All our apps in the phone are driven by tech. So there are already a lot of startups and research, and every company is thinking about solutions which are more sustainable. Even like when you go to various hackathons, like, all the coders out there, if you go to all the hackathons, I just saw even today a mail that take part in this hackathon for SDG, for Sustainable Development Goals. So no one is studying environmental engineering. They just see the problem and see what are the solutions which exist right now, and what are the new solutions which we can come up with, and how we can implement it. So I would say to all of them that you have a very special skill, that you know how to make an app, or how you know how to make a website, or you know how to create a solution, the whole program. So you can do a lot of things for companies, for consumers, for the research institutes, etc. So just go out there, do whatever you can. Like you don't have to have any knowledge in environmental engineering. You can just Google that and things will come automatically. So just again, taking part in competitions will help, and being aware like how to make a world a better place, both all environmentally, socially, or economically, anything, right? So you can just create solutions for that. And most of you would not know that, but you are actually doing it. Like when you are making an app which can ease someone's thing, like which can make people more accessible to various things, that is solving an SDG, like the economical side of SDG, right? So you indirectly also you're doing a lot of things. So just be aware, maybe read about sustainable development goals, maybe just read the names of all the sustainable development goals. That will help. Like just do something about it. Yeah.
And yeah, like instead of seeing tech, like technology or data science and environmental science as two different subjects, we see data science or any tech as a tool, and implement, apply it to solve the problems of environmental science.
Yeah.
The approach which we need to take, instead of just seeing those two as subjects and studying it.
Yeah, not just environmental science, even all the economical and social part of it.
Other domains too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And before I let you go, this is the last question. Like, what would you advise an individual, like as you mentioned, a selfish human, to move towards, like what role should he play to move towards sustainable development?
Like I mentioned it a lot of times in the whole video itself. Just be more aware. Just be more aware. That is all you can do. Read all the names of 17 sustainable development goals, and just be aware and think what can you do in it. Do something than nothing. Like the corporations won't do if you won't do anything. If you won't change your like consumption, right? If you don't prefer a steel straw or a plastic straw, what are the plastic straw manufacturers going to do? So you have to do something. You have to make decisions on your part. So just do something and be aware. That would be my suggestion.
Okay, great. So I think that concludes this video. Thank you so much for your time, and thanks for giving a lot of insights. It was very useful to me, and hopefully it's useful to a lot of the audience watching it. And
I hope so.
Let you go. I just wanted to conclude with this message. The pandemic is going on, so take care, stay safe, wear your masks, get vaccinated. That's it from my end. This is Sanjay from DAV Data Solutions.